Good evening. Welcome to Oxford Community Television News. I'm Elgin Nichols, and coming up in this week's local news, no off-road vehicle park in Oxford, and who just might be the next Tiger Woods. Stay tuned and learn more about these stories and others. The Oxford News begins right now.
Life in the military is one of service and sacrifice, and for some, that sacrifice is more than many of us can imagine. Please join with the American Legion in recognizing and supporting our wounded warriors and their families. Let's not allow them to be forgotten and left to fend for themselves. They deserve more. Sometimes just thank you isn't enough. Go to legion.org/honor veterans to find out how you can help.
At the August 14th Oxford Township Board of Trustees meeting, Oxford residents have spoken, and because they did, there will be no off-road vehicle or RV park in Oxford Township or near village residents. At the packed hall, residents listened to representatives of Oakland County and DNR, tried to convince the local public to have the Board of Trustees allow them to apply for a state grant which would give permission to proceed with testing at the proposed 1,200-acre Connick property site. Approximately 33 local residents were consistent. They did not want the park development plan to continue because they felt the project would be built too close to residential homes, excessive noise would be created by recreation ORVs, motorcycles, and boats, and they felt that there would be a degradation of property values. One resident said, "If you place your house for sale and you disclose, by the way, you have an ORV park next to you, what do you think the odds are of selling it?" Excessive trailer and vehicle highway traffic also was a concern, as was a concern for pollution and health issues. There were approximately 9 people who spoke for the park, but they were currently ORV enthusiasts or not from Oxford Township or Oxford Village residents. One resident spoke saying that he loves the sport and does this sport all the time, but would rather travel elsewhere. He said, "But not in my backyard." All who spoke at the microphone were respectful, and Trustee Chairman and Township Supervisor Bill Dunn commented to them for their restraint, giving them an A for their effort. Dunn then made a motion that the request be denied, and further that the project come to an end. All commissioners voted unanimously with the chairman to deny their project request. Only then did the room erupt into loud cheers and applause. The Oakland Project spokesperson said, "The project is dead." They would not go any further with it. It seems that you'll always hear stories of kids getting into trouble. Well, here is a great story about some local Oxford kids helping others in need. 11 young members of the Oxford Free Methodist Church youth group, ranging from ages 11 to 17, spent some of their summer vacation helping improve senior citizens' quality of life in a tiny town, Copper Hill, Tennessee. Copper Hill is an area that's been hit hard by loss of industry and jobs. For years, the town relied on its copper mine and sulfuric acid plant to fuel the local economy. Today, both plants are closed, and the town has dwindled to a population of roughly 350 people. In just 4 days, the young church members helped an elderly resident who has a monthly income of only $750 per month. They built her a wheelchair ramp, painted the entire exterior of her house, stained a deck, did miscellaneous yard work, and constructed a new ceiling in one of her bedrooms. Great job, kids. Carrie and Tim Collins, owners of Merge Studio and Gallery in Oxford, announced that they hope to breathe new life into the old grain elevator at 33 Pleasant Street by transforming the 5,000 square foot vacant space to house an art gallery, studio and classroom space, a coffee shop, a small second floor apartment, and some retail space for lease, and a 312 square foot outdoor seating area open to Merge customers, Polly Ann Trail users, and the public. Sounds like a great plan. Too little time, too little money, and too many regulatory hoops to jump through, but actually put the kibosh on plans to move a new Christian school into the Oxford United Methodist Church, the OUMC, and open it this fall. We wanted to make it happen. We just couldn't pull it off, said Charlie Garrett, chairman of the church trustees and a voting member of the church council. In early July, the church council agreed to negotiate a lease to provide space to Bray-Lee Christian School, a new tuition-based private institution that would have served K-8 students of all denominations. The United Methodist Church was going to rent approximately 5,200 square feet to the Christian school to house a maximum of 80 students. The school was planning to open this fall, but Gerard explained that 2 months wasn't enough time to satisfy all the state's requirements and have the necessary construction work done to meet the fire code requirements. Too bad. Creative Embroidery, owned by a 2008 Oxford High School graduate Ashley Kiplinger, is planned to have a mural painted on the building at 10 East Burdick Street wall facing the parking lot. The mural would feature 3 trees, branches of which have letters in various fonts spouting from them, and it will be painted either maroon or chocolate brown with possibly other colors added. Ashley brought the proposal to the Oxford Village Planning Commission, where her idea was well received, so it looks like it's going to go ahead. Elizabeth Gerke has a wonderful mix of confidence, charm, and humor. Rare qualities in most people, let alone a 7-year-old. No doubt those qualities led to the Oxford resident's recent crowning as a national queen in the junior preteen division of the USA Ambassador pageant held in Tampa, Florida. In addition to a stunning crown that's almost larger than her head and a smart-looking sash, Gerke, who's the daughter of Marvin and Christy, won a $750 cash prize, a trophy, an American Girl doll, a 3 to 5 day Caribbean cruise, and a trip to Washington, D.C. Congratulations, Elizabeth. 44 kids, 10 to 15 years of age, participated in the Oxford Hills Golf and Country Club's Junior Golf League this summer, but only 2 walked away with trophies. Brent Bulk, sophomore of Oxford High School, won the first flight championship with 23 points, while Zach Beatty, a 5th grader at Lakeville Elementary, earned the second flight championship with 25 points. After playing their final 9 holes Friday, Bulk shot a 35, while Beatty shot a 45. Bulk is considering a career in golf management, and he said he enjoys everything about the sport. Now Beatty, 10 years of age, has been golfing since he was 3 years old. His father recalled him using a little set of Snoopy golf clubs on a par 3 course in Myrtle Beach. He was hooked from then on. He's a great golfer. He just has a natural hand-eye coordination. I like hitting the ball, Beatty said. It's just a good time for me. Beatty has his sights set on someday becoming a professional golfer, and his favorite pros are Tiger Woods and Adam Scott. Wait, I think I will set up a golf date with Dave Kenny, our auto and science news anchor. He plays golf. At least that's what he calls it. My money's on Beatty. That's all the local Oxford news I have for now. If you'd like to learn more about these stories and others, you can pick up the latest copy of the Oxford Leader newspaper from your local store. And coming up next on OCTV, Dave Kenny with his auto science news. Then I'll be back with your weekly calendar of events. This is Oxford Community Television News. I'm Elgin Nichols. Until next time, remember to always be kind to your friends and neighbors, and thanks for watching.
Life in the military is one of service and sacrifice, and for some, that sacrifice is more than many of us can imagine. Please join with the American Legion in recognizing and supporting our wounded warriors and their families. Let's not allow them to be forgotten and left to fend for themselves. They deserve more. Sometimes just thank you isn't enough. Go to legion.org/honor veterans to find out how you can help.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication Automotive News. In our first story, Chrysler's Ram brand will use this weekend's Woodward Dream Cruise in suburban Detroit to debut a high-performance concept pickup, possibly a new version of the Power Wagon. The Dream Cruise, billed as the world's largest one-day automotive event, has attracted more than 1 million classic car fans in recent years. Automakers have used the venue to showcase their high-performance vehicles to potential customers. But this is the first time an automaker has debuted a concept vehicle at the event. The Dream Cruise takes place on a 16-mile stretch of Detroit's famed Woodward Avenue. About 40,000 classic cars are expected to cruise up and down Woodward north of the city limits, while spectators watch along both sides of the roads. Chrysler isn't saying much about the truck, but the event features mostly performance vehicles and is geared to muscle car enthusiasts. The automaker has rented a shopping center parking lot to display all its brands, including Fiat, and will introduce the truck at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on August 17th. Probably it's already done that by the time you see this story. And good news for domestic automakers. Detroit's two biggest brands are suddenly proving themselves in a market they once wrote off to the Japanese: subcompact cars. In a turnabout, Ford and Chevrolet now account for almost a fourth of all subcompact sales in the United States. Small cars are the lifeblood of the Japanese industry, but lately, in the entry-level subcompact part of that business, Chevrolet and Ford have been making Toyota and Honda look bad. In July, Nissan's Versa led entry-level subcompact cars with 9,007 units sold in the United States. The Ford Fiesta took second place, followed by the Chevrolet Sonic. The Honda Fit and the Toyota Yaris trailed. In response, Japanese automakers plan to bring out a new generation of North American-made small cars selling at lower prices. Competition will be intense, observers say, because the subcompact segment is unlikely to see much growth in market share. The domestics are getting really good at building small vehicles, acknowledges Fred Diaz, U.S. sales and marketing head for Nissan division, whose Versa still reigns as king of the entry-level segment. Many years ago, the domestic OEMs couldn't imagine that the Asian imports would be able to come in and be as strong as they were. We don't want to make the same mistake now and turn down a blind eye to the domestics, he says. The success is sweet to Ford Motor Company and General Motors, but to observers such as Tom Libby, head of North American forecasting for R.L. Polk & Company, it's astonishing. To see a GM brand outselling Toyota and Honda in a small car segment is a little startling, says Libby, who has been tracking market trends for 35 years. That's not something that's happened before, he says. And sadly, on the recall front, Hyundai Motor Company is recalling about 240,000 older model Sonata and Azera sedans in cold weather U.S. states due to possible corrosion that can affect rear wheel alignment, according to a report issued by U.S. regulators on August 14th. In two other recalls also announced, about 20,300 Hyundai Santa Fe Sport models from model year 2013 and 9345 Kia Sorento crossovers from the 2014 model year were recalled due to a possible problem with the right front axle. In the corrosion issue, road salt is used in cold weather states, can lead to rust in steel on the underside of the vehicles, which can lead to misaligned rear wheels, according to a filing with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. The recall involves model years 2006 to 2010 Sonata sedans made from March 1st, 2005 to January 21st, 2010, and model year 2006 to 2011 Azera sedans made from September 27th, 2005 to November 22nd, 2010, Hyundai said. The company said it was not aware of any crashes or injuries in relation to the corrosion on the front axle recalls. The road salt issue affects vehicles that are or were registered in 20 U.S. states and the District of Columbia. The recalls affecting Santa Fe and Sorento models impact only those with front-wheel drive and 2.4-liter engines. The right front axle drive shaft may develop a crack, which could cause a separation of the shaft, which could lead to a crash. However, no accidents or injuries have been reported related to this issue, Kia and Hyundai told NHTSA. And at Cadillac, General Motors will reveal a new designed 2015 Cadillac Escalade SUV in October at the world premiere in New York City. The 2015 Escalade is expected to go on sale sometime next spring. It will have been about 8 years after the current version debuted as a 2007 model. The next generation X Escalade is expected to remain on a body-on-frame platform, a version of the same architecture that underpins the redesigned GM pickups that were launched in June. It's expected to have a much improved interior, including a fold-flat third-row seat. Sources say the sticker price is likely to climb several $1,000s from the $67,985 list price, including the destination fee for the base 2014 model. Cadillac's pricing has been on the rise as it rolls out more sophisticated vehicles to compete more directly with German luxury brands. The redesigned CTS sedan that debuts this fall, for example, will be priced at more than $6,000 above the outgoing model. And at Dodge says the 2014 Durango crossover will be priced at $30,790, including the $995 shipping fee, which is the same as the starting price for the 2013 model. The re-engineered 2014 Durango will arrive in dealerships at the end of the third quarter with a new transmission, revamped interior electronics, and exterior lighting and styling. The standard content on the new model adds $3,500 of value over the 2013 model, according to Dodge. The new Durango will include an 8-speed rear-wheel drive transmission, the same as the 2014 Jeep Grand Cherokee. The new transmission will give the Durango up to 15% improvement in fuel economy and enhanced performance, Dodge said. Inside, the Durango will have Chrysler's Uconnect infotainment system and a 7-inch customizable screen in the instrument cluster. Other standard features on the new model include projector fog lamps, keyless enter and go with push-button start, projector headlamps, Bluetooth, LED lit racetrack taillights, a slimmer version of Dodge's split crosshair grille, and bright chrome or body color accents. Durangos with the base 3.6-liter V6 can tow up to 6,200 pounds, and those with the optional 5.7-liter V8 can tow up to 7,400 pounds, and that's quite a truck. Well, that's all for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and as always, may the wind be at your back as you cruise down life's highways. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television, and we'll be right back after this.
Meet Greg Anderson, served 2 tours in Afghanistan, Bronze Star and Purple Heart recipient, and unemployed. The unemployment rate among transitioning service members is unacceptably high, much higher than the general population. Veterans are a proven commodity. They're mature, reliable, and hardworking, and they deserve a chance to get back to work after serving their country. Do you really want to honor a veteran? Hire one. Go to legion.org/honor veterans to find out how you can help.
Hi, and welcome to the final edition of Saddle Up.
Hi, welcome back to Billion Temple CrossFit. I'm your personal trainer.
Now, the Perch just weren't here naturally. Something brought them here.
Welcome back to Daybreak with Susan and Joe, and we're going to wrap up our session here today and talk a little bit about water.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication New Scientist. On our first story from the medical front, a vaccine made from live malaria parasites extracted from the saliva glands of mosquitoes has worked well in its first clinical trial. None of the 6 people receiving the highest dose of the PFSPZ vaccine developed malaria after voluntarily being bitten by infectious mosquitoes, and there's just not enough money for me to do that one. And in Canada, in the wilds of Canada, thousands of motorists have accidents involving moose every year. A new roadside radar system could fix that by keeping track of large animals and warning drivers when it would be wise to slow down. Aber Mukherjee of AUG Signals in Toronto says existing setups which use light beam tripwires are not reliable. With a tripwire system, when an animal crosses it into the road, it will alert, he says, but after a fixed time, the system goes off. Then the system doesn't know where the animal is. The Large Animal Detection System, or LADS as it's called, sends out a 360-degree radar signal every second, then monitors the reflections to work out what animals are there. Its software allows it to ignore small animals and vegetation in the radar's path. The detector has been running as a pilot project in Canada's Highway 416 near Kemptville, Ontario since last year. And if you've ever seen a moose, it's a lot bigger than the little deer we have around here. And in Greenland, Poor Greenland. Not only is its ice sheet melting thanks to rising temperatures, its rocks are being threatened by heat from below. The rock beneath Greenland is hotter than expected given its radioactivity. Now, a team led by Alexei Petrunin of the GFZ Helmholtz Center in Potsdam in Germany have combined seismic and gravitational data to estimate the thickness of Greenland's lithosphere, and that's the rocky part of the Earth's surface. They found that it is 80 to 100 kilometers thick, less than the 200 to 250 kilometers typically seen elsewhere on Earth. The thinning is caused by a plume of magma that's rising up and eroding Greenland, giving the rocks their heat, says Petrunin. And on the medical front, a newly beating heart is part mouse, part human. For the first time, a mouse heart has been made to pulse again by stripping it of its own cells and rebuilding it with human ones. To create the hybrid heart, Lei Yang at the University of Pittsburgh and colleagues took the heart from a mouse and, in a process that lasted 10 hours, removed all its cells. The remaining protein scaffold was then repopulated with human heart precursor cells, that's stem cells that are differentiated into 3 types of cells required for a heart. After a few weeks, the organ started to beat again. Our engineered hearts contained about 70% human heart precursor cells, which provide enough mechanical force for contraction, says Yang. The precursor cells were derived from induced pluripotent stem cells generated from human skin cells and were then turned into cardiac precursor cells. A previous study had used human embryonic cells and achieved similar results, but the success rate in converting them to beating heart cells was very low. Although the designer hearts do beat rhythmically, they aren't strong enough to pump blood effectively, and the team found that the heart's rhythm differed from a normal mouse's heart. Yang thinks this is because the added cells were not as mature as adult heart cells or properly synchronized. We did not rebuild the whole cardiac conduction system, which could control the rhythmic beatings of the heart, he says. The team's next step will be to improve the mechanical and electrical synchronization of the heartbeat. The study builds on previous work by Yang and colleagues, where human heart precursor cells derived from embryonic cells, stem cells that is, successfully differentiated into different heart cells when injected into a mouse heart. In another recent study, a rat's heart was bioengineered by seeding a scaffold with another rat's stem cells. Yang's long-term goal is to create human hearts that can be used for transplants, for drug testing, and to better understand how a heart develops. Using our method, we could generate both muscle and vascular-like structures in the engineered heart construct, says Yang. We hope to make a piece of human heart tissue soon, but our dream is to regenerate a human heart organ. The main challenge is to scale up the system to work with human heart scaffolds. There, the biggest problem will be the sheer number of cells needed to reseed a human heart. What a wonderful thing that would be. And across the sea, the timing could hardly be worse. South Korea is roasting in a record-breaking heat wave, but doesn't have the electricity to crank up the air conditioning, as several power plants have shut down following a safety scandal. Extreme heat has struck much of East Asia in recent weeks, including China, South Korea, and Japan. Temperatures in southern China have hit 109.4 Fahrenheit, and in Japan set a record high of 105.8. On Tuesday, in South Korea, temperatures hit an all-time high of 102.5 last Saturday. Dozens are reported dead across the region. Heat waves can kill, with babies and elderly particularly at risk. A recent study showed that mortality rates in South Korean cities rose by 4.1% during extreme heat. Heat waves in Seoul were particularly dangerous, increasing mortality by 8.4%. To make matters worse, South Korea's electricity supply is in turmoil. A similarly severe heat wave last summer led to a spike in electricity demand that the state power company struggled to meet. This year, the company faces the same problem, but with the added complication of deactivated power plants. The country is heavily reliant on nuclear power, which has come under fire following the 2011 disaster at Fukushima in Japan. Then earlier this year, it emerged that safety tests on some of South Korea's reactors were faked. 3 nuclear plants have been taken offline, and on Monday, 2 coal-fired power plants were also shut down when they developed faults. South Korea just doesn't have enough power to keep everything running. Government buildings have been ordered to turn off their air conditioning, and ministers say they may have to resort to rolling blackouts to prevent the grid from crashing. And let's hope that never happens here. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television, and we'll be right back.
Welcome to another segment of the news we call your weekly calendar of events, where we feature your weekly calendar of local Oxford and Addison community events, including charity, special fundraisers, and general community information. Now, if you or your organization would like help to get your message out to the public, contact us for detailed information at our studio phone number at 248-628-9658, or you can go to our website at occtv.org. On the second Saturday every month, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., the K9 Rescue League of Oxford will be holding a dog adoption day, sponsored by the Pet and Stuff Harvest Time, located on the corner of Drainer and M24 Oxford. Come and select a furry little friend who will give your family lots of love and company for years to come. You can also visit the kennels located at 2120 Metamora Road in Oxford, or go to their K9 Rescue website at dogsaver.org. The Northeast Oakland Historical Museum in downtown Oxford has new business hours for the month of August. You can visit the museum Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m. and on Friday from 5 to 8 p.m. For more information about the museum and how your group can receive special consideration, call 248-628-8413. The Oxford Farmers Market operates every Thursday through October 30th. The market features Michigan-grown produce and products. The Farmers Market is located near the Centennial Park, and when entering downtown Oxford, in the village, watch for their signs. Oxford's summer concerts in the park are now being held at the downtown Centennial Park on every Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. throughout the summer. Due to sponsorship by the Oxford Downtown Development Authority, DDA, and private donations, there is no fee to the public. Bring your blanket or lawn chair, sit back, and enjoy the entertainment. Tuesday, August 20th, 2 to 3 p.m., the Oxford Public Library, 530 Pontiac Road, will hold Book Bingo for adults. Bring along a friend, win books by playing bingo. For more information, call 248-628-3034. August 21st, 1:30 p.m. to 2 p.m., the Oxford Public Library offers Sunshine for Kids. This is a story time designed especially for 4 to 6-year-olds with autism, Down syndrome, ADHD, or other learning disabilities. For your kids to enjoy a unique experience, registration is required. Call 248-628-3034. September 7th, Let's Ride for Fall Heroes, sponsored by the American Legion Riders, Post 108 Oxford. There will be a pig roast, smoked chicken, side dishes, draft beer, fountain pop, and live entertainment. Early registration is $20 for rider classification and $5 for passenger. Late registration is $20 for rider classification and $10 per passenger. For more information, call Dave at 248-413-9650. Sounds yummy. On Saturday, September 28th, the No Haz program to allow residents drop-off of hazardous materials will be held and will be located at the Wildwood of Orion Township in the amphitheater parking lot. We at Oxford Community Television would like our television viewing public to learn more about your club or organization's special upcoming event or charity. So, if you would like to get your special event mentioned on our television show, call us at 248-628-9658, or you can go to our website at occtv.org. A final reminder, check out our OCTV viewing schedule for my good friend Bill Service, who always has interesting local stories and interviews on our Community Access program. This is Oxford Community Television OCTV. I'm your host, Elgin Nichols, and we invite you to join us again for the next segment of your weekly calendar of events.